Hi, my name is Scott Penner. I am the safety officer leading this presentation. We are going to be talking about fire code in Moorhead, Minnesota. Leading off, the Moorhead Fire Department oversees enforcing all city and state fire code. They have handouts and are open to talking about code compliance at any time. Their phone number is 218-299-5432. If the builder owner need engineering controls, it's best to consult a constructional engineer or a code compliance engineer for advice on fire code. Fire code in the city of Moorhead is enforced by the fire marshal, which is on staff at Moorhead Fire Department. City reserves the right to assess administrative fines and rectify code violations if deemed an emergency. The city of Moorhead does routine code inspections on all businesses with public workspace and will get toured on a scheduled basis unless a complaint comes in or there is some type of fire or smoke related incident. In Moorhead code enforcement page, it states that the corresponding agency to whichever violation is reported will be in charge of enforcing code violations. If the administrative penalties are not enough to elicit change, usually those are a fine or penalty in a monetary value. The city reserves the right to evictions and possibly even demolition of the property if needed. ASTM, formerly known as the American Society for Testing Materials, is one of the main sources for information on building material resistance to fire. The test material's ability to maintain its structural integrity while exposed to heat and flame. Moorhead is currently using the 2007 model for the fire code of Minnesota, which is 2 versions behind the current state fire code, but is still very current. There's some deviations, but not a whole lot. As far as the types of tests determined to use, components and building materials in buildings, ASTM has quite a few different tests, but the 3 main ones are the ASTM E119 test. This evaluates the fire resistance of building materials. They also use the ASTM E84 test. This measures flame spread, smoke development with certain materials. The ASTM D93 is a flash point test. This determines the temperature of which chemical mixes with air and combusts. These are just a few of the tests, again, that are conducted by the ASTM, but they're kind of the critical ones. So fire tests and their fire ratings apply to inspections and enforcement in our area. They show how long a certain space will be able to hinder the spread of fire, what type of smoke is going to be in the air if the area or building catches on fire. The first thing is with the routine inspections in Moorhead, fire rates drop significantly when trained inspectors make annual inspections of public buildings. Not only from direct code enforcement, but also from the overall fire safety attitude, making the entire community safer. Code enforcement begins when the building plans are being submitted and planned for the community. Because you have to pass fire code in order to pass your code inspection. With this attention to detail in the beginning, through the completed process, fire prevention wins. There's a significant decrease in fires and smoke type incidences in a community. As far as unsafe buildings conditions in our community, the biggest thing is City of Moorhead is rapidly expanding. We have a high growth rate. It also has a rich history for northern Minnesota. Some of the buildings are 150 to 170 years old. So there's a lot of old buildings that didn't have any codes. That's going to be one of the challenges of Moorhead as a community and as a whole, is to get those buildings up to code. Just outside of Moorhead, we are a highly ag area. There's a lot of chemical storage on farms, whether it be propane, fertilizers, urea, ammonium nitrate. That is a highly explosive fertilizer used in farming. I think that's probably kind of our biggest concern. We have the Bakken oil field to our west with rail cars coming through all the time. It wasn't too long ago out in Valley City, North Dakota, that 10 or multiple rail cars caught on fire that had oil in them, and it took a long time for the fire to be contained. Had that same derailment happened in downtown Moorhead, it would have been a very different story. So I think that's probably one of our biggest areas of concern as far as code enforcement and fire safety in the City of Moorhead. So as far as like structural control, helping with fire safety, the biggest thing is reviewing the plans with the county assessor, recorder's office. They have plans to any current, at least for the last 50 years or so, on file about how each building in the city was made, created, what's in it. The fire inspectors can use these to inspect buildings and questionable fire prevention controls. These could be as simple as cutting electricity and water to uninhabited dwellings. Also, this could be as simple as updating a building that doesn't have any sprinklers or fire alarms or different egress windows from upper stories. So I think that's the biggest thing. Obviously, these are all going to be a case-by-case basis for these types of buildings because every building is different. But yeah, I think that's kind of wraps up our chat. Leave a comment below if you like this video, if you find something that I might have missed. I am by no means a complete expert on fire prevention. There's definitely people out there that know a lot more than me. Like I said, there's the fire marshals or structural engineers. A lot of those guys, that's what their specific job is enforcing fire code. I think we'll leave it off here.